Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 11. That's right, getting near the end of the series. But in fairness, there is a reason why I've done this series quite long. Because I'm heading into a big year, big and busy year, next year, this coming September, I'm not really going to have the time to do these. So I'm kind of making up for what I won't be able to do. September until probably about June. So anyway, that's that for the moment. So my guest tonight is experiment manager, very classy, I know, of the 21-day experiment, Sarah Day. Hello, Sarah.
Hello. Hello, Daniel. How are you today?
Oh, fine. I was just at a discussion earlier on with Lauren Padel of the Indiana
Mhm.
Historical Society on young researchers. So that was quite fun. And just, getting through the day.
Yep.
uh, anyway, well, I think we all are, in fairness. So, for anyone watching that mightn't necessarily know you, Sarah, could you possibly introduce yourself?
Yes. I am Sarah Day. I'm 17. I live in Utah in the United States, and I have been doing genealogy for about 6 years now. I got involved with the Connections experiment about 8 months ago now, and I'm very involved with a lot of the things they do. I run their app and their blog, and then I'm the experiment manager. And so I do all of the experiment stuff and the surveys and the data, and that's me.
And I can imagine, like, you're probably one of the kind of working cogs of that, in the sense that you keep different aspects of it running, like you said, the app and you keep everything updated. Like
Mhm.
I can imagine that takes like quite a bit of your time doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, it takes some amount of time. It takes less than I thought it would when I got on, actually, but I've really enjoyed becoming a part of it and being something meaningful. So, yeah.
And also, for those who mightn't necessarily know what the connections experiment is, could you explain
Oh,
a
of
bit about it?
course. Yeah. So it started last May, and then it's just 21 days of activity ideas, and we've been doing a new one each month. This month right now that we're in is everyday family connection. So it's things that you might already be doing every day, like sitting down and talking at dinner or putting a note in your kids' lunchbox. So some of the activities are more family history related, going and finding a hint on family search, and some of them are more just everyday, hey, let's all talk about something fun at dinner today. And so it's just bringing benefits of connection and family to anyone in the world who wants it.
Right, so it's kind of a way of connecting with ancestors, but through not necessarily possibly typical ways.
Yes.
That that will do it.
Yes, it
Anyway,
will.
so you said you've been doing genealogy for 6 years. What started
Yes.
it all off?
So I had kind of always been aware of it, even when I was really young. But when I was a couple years ago, my grandfather had something called arthrogryposis. And so his knee and ankle and hip joints didn't work properly. They were stuck. And so he had a hard time walking around, but he loved family history. And so I was his buddy. I would go and grab the books off the shelf or open the pages that was just a little more difficult for him to get to. And as I was helping him, I started to fall in love with my family and learning about all of them. And I loved connecting with my grandfather. And so that's kind of what started it. And I got farther into it as years have gone on and really have fallen in love with it.
Fair enough. And that I love that's kind of how you kind of saw kind of you were your grandfather's, buddy for this sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice if you kind of have, a family member that you can do it with. Because,
Yes,
you're both kind of embarking on the journey together and you're working together on it and
exactly.
you're just working away with it.
Yeah, it was really
So
fun to have a partner in crime as we
Oh
embarked on our
yeah,
journey.
we all do love a partner in crime and genealogy. Although disclaimer, not an actual crime. Um,
Right.
unless it took part like 100 years ago or something, sure. Uh,
Yes.
anyway, what resources have you found?
So my favorite resources, I really like the Family Search Wiki if I'm starting a new place or a new set of records, just because it gives you a good overview and then gives you more information so you can go learn. I also really like the whole just press the button and see what happens learning strategy. That's how I learned most of it originally. I would just say, huh, I wonder what that does. And then I would press it and then I would see what would happen. And then I would know for next time what that did. So those are probably two of my favorites. I also, over the last couple of months, and because of COVID, have started watching a fair amount of webinars and being able to watch people who didn't learn by pressing things how it's actually supposed to work, and that's been really fun for me.
And I like how you kind of talked about family search because I know, and you've done something that that I've wanted to do for an awful long time, and that's presented roots tech.
Yes. I got to present this February at Roots Tech, and I was super excited about it. I submitted proposals almost a year ago at this point, and I was 16 at the time and didn't think any of them would work, but I figured I would give it a try. And I was so happy when I got the email saying, you get to do it. And so I got to present at Roots Tech, and it was an awesome experience. I loved it and hope to be able to continue to do it. Is it's a great way to talk about something you love and connect with a lot of other people. It's something I'm pretty proud of because I'm probably the youngest
I,
presenter ever. We were trying to figure
I
out if
think
I was or not,
good.
but it was really amazing.
I mean, that's Gen Z genealogist for the win there. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, and obviously, we'll get to these questions kind of relating to the current generation later on. But
Yes.
like it just kind of you're kind of. I'm not saying you're kind of combating stereotypes, but kind of um like you're definitely showing that it's not just older people that can do this,
Mm-hmm.
and even presenting. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you were kind of like the first person around your age and mine, we're both 17, to do this.
Yeah.
I
It
genuinely
was
wouldn't be
really
surprised.
cool. Yeah.
So
Um,
definitely. Oh, and comment here from Tara then. So as fast as
yes,
it's
Tara.
awesome, just push the bottom. The button, excuse me, not bottom. What am I saying? Words. Anyway, what aspect? Oh, sorry, no, I skipped one. Is there anything that you now know that you wish you knew when you started?
The thing I wish I knew when I had begun was how important it would be to like put reasons for things as I was building trees and getting involved in everything. Is it's now been 6 years, and when I look back, I'm like, huh, I wonder where I found that, or I wonder why I did that, or I wonder why I added that kid. And so I wish I kept more notes for myself that I could look back on, because now I have to do it all over again and figure out why I added that kid 6 years ago, because I don't
Yeah,
remember now. So I think
yeah,
that's the thing I wish I'd known.
yeah. I mean, my desk and that cupboard behind me, that's where all my research is. But that it's just little little notes like these are stuff stuck around.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just after getting a huge notice board on the thing above my monitor, so it's genealogy and school related, and it's helped me to organize myself because I'm quite forgetful, believe it or not. I can forget an awful lot of things and not remember a lot of things. So that does help. And yeah, I just need to kind of, make notes, be it in my ancestry, my heritage, family search tree, whatever it may
Mm-hmm.
be. Just kind of, say, you did this, and this is why.
Yes.
And yeah, I just need to do that a bit more. So Oh my god, how am I skipping so many questions? It's like I'm forgetting them again. What? This is what should have gone. Was what projects or ventures are you currently pursuing?
Well, so you know about my involvement with the 21-day connections experiment. I'm very involved with that and that project and keeping it going. And I'm getting to work on the July plan. So y'all should go check that one out in the month of July because I've been very involved with that one. The other couple of things I'm working on is I'm working to become an accredited genealogist so that I can work professionally. And so I want to do it in the southwestern United States region. And so I've been putting together all of the work and working towards that. And so I've been taking on a lot of projects for family and friends and neighbors. And so that's been really exciting to get to work on other people's family because I haven't really gotten to do that before. But to dive into different people and their stories has been really fun for me. So those are my current genealogy projects.
I can imagine, so like people are kind of, queuing up a little or kind of, your neighbors are probably kind of, shouting around and saying, is it your turn or is it mine? And so like they just kind of wait and they just pop and go like, hi, I'm here.
Mhm.
But it's good that you're doing that because I do it as well with my friends who want me to help them. So I'm kind of like, no, I'm fine, and then it's just leave it there. So I do. But no, the ones that kind of do want to learn, I do try and help, but kind of a friend of mine has, I think it's like a great grandfather or something. It comes from England, and I'm not great at English genealogy, but I'm slowly learning the ropes. I'm only dealing with I'd say Irish and English, sorta, and American, although American would probably come before British. Genealogy is what I'm dealing with. There's obviously a lot of my family further up, emigrated
Mhm.
to America. So, and I will never probably ever work out how my granddad supposedly lived, married, and died in Chicago, but yeah, but didn't ever. She was
That's so weird.
lived, married, died in New York.
And New York and Chicago are not close to each other, like at all.
No, like I was so kind of, oh, she died in Chicago, and I spent so long looking at stuff for Chicago when it wasn't even there. So I've no idea where that even came from. I when I kind of started it, especially with her, I only
Mhm.
had, I had her name, where she went, well, not when she went more than where.
Mhm.
This is obviously I was still had to be believed in Chicago, and the surname of the husband, and that's it. Which was Eschner, and I kept looking Eschner and Loftus in Chicago, absolutely nothing. And then Eschner and Loftus in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
Like I was in Dublin, staying with a family friend at the time, and in Dublin is where the NLI, the National Library of Ireland, is.
Mhm.
So I went there and did quite a bit of genealogy. It was a blast, and that's how I found out. I just did, her name and the Eschner one, and I eventually found out who she had married. But
Yay!
I know. Oh, it was such a relief, and then kind of a bit of an irritating feel to find out that it was not Chicago and I'd been lied to. But I got over that
Yeah.
bit by bit. Uh, anyway, so what aspect of genealogy do you love most?
So I really like being able to find an ancestor. I like being able to dig into a record and then make a connection one of my ancestors. I feel like they're very important to me. And I like to be able to understand their stories as I understand them and connect with them. I also feel like I understand the people around me better, which I really like, is I can understand why someone would make a decision that they're making or why they feel the way that they do about something. Even if I can't entirely understand, I can understand that that's a valid choice. And so I've really loved connecting with my ancestors and finding them, and it helping me understand the world better.
Fair enough. No, that is kind of nice because you can then kind of think, well, why did they move to, or why did they choose to emigrate to New York? And then, and
Mm-hmm.
for me, I do history as a subject in school, so kind of when I do genealogy, it kind of goes hand in hand, and also because I like history, it kind of helped me like family history quicker,
Yes.
if that makes sense. Kind of, I I like doing it quicker than if I didn't do history. But it does kind of, add an extra layer to the story if you kind of know what was happening at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially if, obviously, in the 1840s and 50s, well, late 1840s, early 1850s, in Ireland is obviously the Great Famine.
Yeah.
So, obviously, a lot of people would have moved either to the UK or went to the US, and just probably knowing more about what happened at that time probably answers the question as to why.
Right.
Uh, if, if
And
if I made some bit of sense there, that's always good.
yes, I like being able to understand the history through an individual's eyes, as I think it means more to us if we had someone actually there and experiencing it rather than just hearing about it.
Definitely. So, uh, something Carolyn asked, and I'm going to stick this one up because it's similar to the question I was about to ask. So, thank you, Carolyn. What has been your favorite family history discovery lately? Or what I was going to say, what's an interesting story or event that you've discovered about your ancestors? So you can probably answer it in one.
Okay. So my we've been cleaning out my grandparents' house, and I discovered that they have a very large amount of family history items. And so that's been cool to start to go through. There's books upon books of papers and stacks of stuff, and it'll probably take me years to actually make my way through all of it, but it's been really fun to get to see all of it. But here's the cool part. So we were going through this box, and it had like a bunch of papers and pictures and stuff in it. And then we open another box inside the box because nesting dolls. And then we pulled out this diary, and its paper is kind of decaying and really old. And I think it's from the late 1800s. And so it's really cool. I'm trying to figure out who it belongs to because it doesn't have a name. And so it's all of these like poems and songs, and there's pictures tucked inside of it. And so that was been my coolest discovery. So now I want to figure out who it belongs to. But it was really cool to be able to open papers that are 100 years old and feel where my ancestors will have written and see what they were thinking and feeling and actually get like an insight into their life. So that's the coolest thing I think I've discovered recently.
Yeah, and I mean I because in Ireland you do this kind of work experience, which is you get to try out your dream job for a
Mm-hmm.
week or two. And for me, it was split up. It was 3 weeks split up into two sections. So the first
Okay.
section was 2 weeks, and the second one was 1 week. But anyway, for my first section, I had done 2 weeks in an archive.
Oh, cool.
So I was dealing with books, and the most pristine one I think was probably about 160 years old. In the stuff that I was dealing with, I think it was like 160 years old, and it was honestly like it just came out of a station store. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was kept in perfect, immaculate condition, and it was just kind of really nice because you were touching a bit of history, and
Mm-hmm.
you were see you're it's not something like, granted, with COVID and everything, like it has to be virtual,
Right.
but it is oh, it was like it's hard to describe the feeling kind of when you were holding the book like uh
Hmm.
with the cotton gloves or with the gloves on, and kind of you were kind of thinking, right, this is 160 years old and I'm holding it. But yeah, nothing beats kind of holding history in your
Yeah.
hands. Nothing beats that. So, what type of record do you like the most and why?
So I really like, okay, so I guess I have two answers to this question.
Go
The
for it.
first one is I really like all of the United States censuses. I really like to get a look at each of the families every 10 years and see how they've changed and what they're up to. And I just really enjoy that. My second favorite type of record, though, is about uh, records that tell about the people. So like a county history that talks about this person moved here and founded this county and they did all of these wonderful things and here they are and this is how they're related to this person, or a will that describes all the relationships and you can see as they're selling the items what things they really had in their house. And so I really like things that can tell us more about their lives. So I have two favorite ones.
Fair enough. And don't worry, you were allowed to have more than one answer to that. But no, that is kind of nice because, like you said, it does give you a bit of an insight into kind of what they had because you can probably imagine it around you. So, like if you're sitting in the middle of the room, kind of saying, right, they had a dresser, so that's there. They had a kitchen table, four
Yeah.
chairs there, or they had the little stove with the cast iron pot or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cast iron. What am I thinking? The kind of iron teapot thing. The name, I guarantee you, the name of the thing will come to me after the
The
silly
kettle.
interview is
Yeah.
done. That's always going to happen to me. But no, it is kind of nice because you can imagine what things would have, what things they would have had, if I can speak.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just nice, I think. So, probably my favorite question of this: what does genealogy mean to you?
Genealogy to me means connecting with my ancestors and learning more about them, but gaining that connection. I feel that they're still able to help me and influence me, both my understanding of the world now and working through my individual problems, but also being able to get away and go and get into theirs for a little while and not worry about my world, but instead worry about theirs. So I think it's the connection and being able to see things through their eyes that I really enjoy.
Yeah, and obviously going back to the point about knowing the history and the stuff behind it,
Mm-hmm.
you just kind of realize, right, that's why they did what they did. Um,
Exactly.
I done a reel kind of on this sort of thing, and if you went to my profile under the reel section, it's just called "Call of the Ancestors." So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like it's a song, and you just kind of listen to kind of the lyrics, and it's almost as if it kind of, if you're kind of into genealogy, it almost kind of sounds like your ancestors are talking to you. So if any of you want to go and check that out, that's on my Instagram under the handle Daniels underscore genealogy. I had to think. I have about 3 or 4 different handles for all this city socials. I'm trying to keep it the same, but it isn't working. Uh, oh
We
well.
gotta try.
Yeah. So by the way, if anyone watching has any questions for Sarah, please do get them in now as I'm getting near the end. And you don't want to miss your chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, what advice would you give to a young person starting on their genealogy journey?
So the advice I would give is just try it. Like just press the buttons. You have some experience with technology because we all have grown up with it at our fingertips. So just try it. Start pressing stuff, start putting information in, and you'll be surprised at how far you're able to go by just saying, huh, I wonder what that does. And then the second thing is leave notes for yourself, as that's one of the things I wish I had done in the beginning. So if you're starting now, leave some notes for yourself. So 10 years from now, you can look back and be like, oh, that's why I did that. Okay. So those are
And
my advice.
yeah, definitely. And for anyone wanting to know more about Sarah's Roots Tech talk called Just Push the Button, I think I had the name right. Um, I will link it in the YouTube video when I eventually post this up. So you can go and check it out there. And yeah, push the button, as Sarah says.
Yeah.
So, with times ever changing, more and more young people are getting into genealogy and starting it. In your own opinion, do you think that there is a sufficient outlet for young genealogists to connect and, talk with each other and not feel like, they're alone in this sort of thing?
I don't really think so at the moment. I feel like there are some ways that we're able to connect and talk, like with you, Daniel, and the Hidden Branch is really great. There's the International Family History Honor Society, and that has a great connections group with it. But I feel like there's not a great way for all of us to connect and work together with each other. And I really wish there was. I've just recently started discovering that there are other teenagers like me that love genealogy and do a lot of it. I thought I was by myself. And so I thought, I think that we need more ways to connect with each other because I don't really think there are very many.
Yeah, and no, I forgot what I was going to say. Great. God. And this is going a bit to your Roots Tech presentation, but do you think that you being a Gen Z genealogist, the next gen of genealogists to come,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that's kind of, set, the foundations for, possibly older genealogists to kind of think, okay, there really are young genealogists out here. They really are into that sort of thing.
I think it's going to help along the way. I got to go to Roots Tech 2 years ago, and I was the youngest one in the room a lot of times. And then I got to present this year, and I brought down the average age by like 30 or 40 years. It wasn't even close. But I think as more of us become a part of it and start to lay the foundation and get to do things like present and connect with each other and become bigger parts of the genealogy world, I think that that will help over time. I also think when I'm older, I'll remember where I started and I'll try and help the younger ones along because I wish I would have had that when I was first starting out to be able to connect with someone older to kind of help me along the way and realize that there are other people that really love this just like I do. So yes, I think that it all has helped and will lay a foundation, and I think it will continue to become better.
Fair enough. Now, by the looks of it, I think those are all the questions that we have coming in. So I think we shall wrap it up there. So thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on. It's
Thank you
great
for
to
having
have,
me.
another likewise face in the similar age to me coming on and, just talking about anything genealogy related, really. So thanks everyone for watching, and tune in next week because if you think it's getting big now, it's only just beginning. So see you, everyone.